Hi there, here's a short topic video looking at what is specialisation. Specialisation happens when we concentrate our resources on a particular product or task. And of course we find that specialisation can happen at every level of the economy. Specialisation can happen within the family, within the extended family, particularly many of the world's poorest countries. Specialisation happens in local communities. It happens within businesses and organisations. For example, this highly specialised production line involved in making cars or in the construction sector. We know from studying the economics of comparative advantage and trade that countries specialise in particular products. Bangladesh has become a globally scaled producer and exporter of textiles. We've seen in recent times the increased investment in and specialisation in shale oil and gas from the United States. Ghana is a specialist supplier of cocoa. Of course, within a country we find specialisation. The West Midlands for many years has been a key centre of car making, car assembly, particularly in the plants in and around Oxford. Specialisation in localities and regions, of course, can lead to external economies of scale, the benefits of agglomeration. So specialisation happens at every level of the economy. Some countries specialise in particular on just one or two products. And we call this primary product dependence, particularly for countries that are specialising in the production of and the exporting of primary commodities. Let's take an example of one of the poorest countries in the world, Malawi. You can see from this chart that nearly 45% of their exports of goods are just raw tobacco. Indeed, if you add tobacco and sugar together, it's more than 50% of their exports. So Malawi has a relatively narrow export base. Indeed, over 90% of their exports of goods are farming or mining extractive products. Less than 10% of their exports are manufactured goods. So Malawi is a country that is highly specialised but has low economic complexity. Contrast this with a country such as South Korea, which is now the 5th largest economy in the world in terms of exports and has, according to the Economic Complexity Index, the 6th most complex economy in the world. Look at the difference between South Korea and Malawi. I'll go back to the Malawi slide. Malawi has low diversification, high dependency on primary products. South Korea has a patchwork quilt of thousands of industries and products that it can and does produce. So clearly it does specialise. It specialises in integrated circuits. It's a major car maker. It produces ships and things and tankers. So South Korea does specialise, but it has a much more diversified pattern of production and exports. One of the reasons, of course, why South Korea is now a high-income OECD country. And of course, specialisation can happen within industries. We're seeing the emergence of global, vertically supplied supply chains. So take, for example, the iPad. The iPad, of course, is made in many different countries. Okay, a really good example is that the value added depends on where the inputs are sourced. An Apple iPad is made in China, but actually only around 5% of the retail price that you paid for an iPad is paid for Chinese economic activity. Nearly half the value of an iPad goes to the United States in terms of retail markup, for example. Korea takes nearly 10% for the value of its components. But what we're seeing in the world economy is the increasingly globally, vertically integrated supply chains. Deep specialisation across national borders. This has been an introduction to the question, what is specialisation?